This tutorial will be a very easy fabric coaster. This is for a beginner. We have some 4x4, they start out as 5x5 pieces of material that have printing on them. They have scriptures on them actually, which was something that I really liked about this material. And so we cut those, and Caleb chose two, for nothing will be impossible with God, and Jesus Christ, the same yesterday, today, and forever, that are the same size so that he can sew those together. So the first thing that we're going to do is go over the supplies needed. We need pins, coaster fabric, and interfacing fabric, which needs to be a little bit thick. The thickness you might use for a light quilt. And we're going to go ahead and cut that right now. So Caleb's going to place one of the coaster fabric pieces on the lining paper, lining fabric, pin that on, or you can do it like he does, but you're taking more of a chance if you don't pin it. I would recommend at least one pin, excuse me, but I would prefer to pin at least the areas, two sides where you're going to be cutting. And then you want to make sure when you're cutting that you cut close to your fabric, but not into your fabric. So right up there at the top is good, and then the other you can leave the other two sides since it's on a corner like that. So now Caleb's going to cut close to the fabric that's already been cut out. Okay, and then one more side. So we have 4 equal sides for the lining for the coaster. And the lining is to make it more waterproof and to keep it from anything that spills or the moisture that condenses on the outside of the cup. I'm sorry, to keep that from getting on the furniture. So now we have 2 fabric pieces. Yeah, we can put that on the side, good. And 1 lining piece. And so we want to put the lining pieces facing each other. That's right. And then put the piece we just cut on the top of that. Then we want to pin all that together. Pin the 3 pieces together before we go sew. So at least the 3 sides of it. Okay, and then let's turn it over. And there's just a little unevenness here on the side, so let's trim that off before we take it to go sew it. All the way over. Very good. All right, well now we go to our sewing machine. We're at the sewing machine now, and we're going to be placing the fabric under the feed, or on top of the feed. And Caleb's going to be using, I think, a locking stitch. Okay. You want to take that pin out before you get to it. Set for someone else, right? Yep, right along the edge there, keeping it even, taking the pin out as you go. So when you turn the corner, all right, needle down, foot up, turn the corner, foot down, pin out. There we go. Just a nice, easy stitch evenly along the side of the coaster fabric. And when we get to the last side, we're going to leave it open about halfway on that side. So we're on the third side now. Needle down, foot up, turn, foot down, pin out. And you don't need to pull because the fabric feed feeds the fabric through evenly. So I'm just guiding our fabric through at a nice steady pace. Okay, we're just like a seam allowance from the end. Okay, so again, pin out, and this one we're only going to sew halfway down and then back stitch. So we'll go halfway, just enough so that you can get your hand inside and turn that fabric out. So a little bit more. Well, that might work. Okay, so back stitch. Good. Now we'll take it out, cut our threads right down to the fabric. Good. All right. Then we want to look at, get all of those off. We want to look at whether or not we need to trim any of the sides of it, and I think that would be a good idea to trim the sides.